What it do, peeps? It's the Beat Chef. I just wanted to jump on here real quick. A lot went on Friday and Saturday. Friday, the report dropped about the salaries and the Supermax salary. Very interesting, the timing of the report. Front Office Sports is the one that dropped the report. They were one of the first ones that came out and said about the report, and they kept saying Supermax. They said that it was leaked by, or sources within the league gave them the report. Folks, I'm here to tell you, that ain't how it went down. This is how it went down. Keep in mind, I did a video on Friday where I talked about Dana Evans, and she was getting interviewed by a reporter. That same reporter is the same reporter that reported on Friday after the Aces won. So let's go back to Thursday. Thursday at practice, Ann Constable, she works for Front Office Sports. She asked Dana Evans a direct question about the Supermax. Remember, Dana Evans was hesitant to ask the offer, and then you heard the reporter say, "Oh, you don't have to answer." Dana went ahead and answered it because Dana knows who she's talking to. Dana says, "Yeah, I don't think that's going to be high enough. I think they'll have to be at 1 million before they start talking." That's important. Friday comes along. Front Office Sports releases the information that they already know. Which, damn it, we already know. We already knew there was a 4x offer on the table. Nneka had said that at the end of August to ESPN. Keep in mind, folks, they went to a bargaining table for the first face-to-face meeting during All-Star Weekend. That was around July 16th, 17th, somewhere in there. That's when they went to that meeting. So, remember, Adam Silver had said earlier in the week, we're going to focus on the finals, and after the finals, we'll get to the bargaining. Friday night, the finals happens. The broom comes out. The Aces win. The Aces are popping champagne. They're drinking. They're feeling bubbly. I didn't make a video on this, but I thought it was very interesting that during the press conference after the game, that a reporter asked a question about Kathy Engelbert. Well, before she asked that question, when they said Ann Constable, Front Office Sports, if you watch the video, you'll see Asia Wilson do this. She puts her goggles on because she knows what's about to come. She knows Ann's going to ask her a question about that bargaining report because she had already asked Dana Evans. But Ann flipped it on her and asked her about Kathy Engelbert getting booed. That's important. So she asked her the question. Chelsea Gray responds and gives a statement about Kathy Engelbert, and then Asia starts shaking the tambourine like she's in some small church in South Carolina. That's what happened on that. That's what happened. Actually, folks, to be honest, what you saw on Friday was what we call a bargaining report. Anybody that's been a union member or been part of a bargaining unit, they understand that when your bargaining team goes to work with the company and get your contract, they relay messages back to the membership through whatever, your local or whatever. A lot of times you'll go to a portal and you'll log in, or you'll go to your union's website, and your local's website will have, or maybe, and it'll be a bargaining report. It'll be something very brief. It's never got a lot of answers. It makes you have more questions actually than answers. Keep that in mind. You'll have more questions after reading the bargaining report than answers. Some bargaining reports are just a couple statements, and then it'll say in solidarity at the end, something like that. This was the initial bargaining report from the first interaction that these women had with the company. The first interactions these players had with the company. That's all this was. People have asked me a couple times, if the WNBA players have it so good overseas, why don't they just play overseas? Here's the answer to that. And if you have children, you'll really relate to this, and it'll really make you understand it. Have you ever dropped your kids off at your parents' house or somebody's house, and when you pick them up, they're at your parents' house, so they're hanging with Granny and Paw for a weekend. But when you get them on Sunday and you bring them back home, you have to kind of reel them in. That's kind of how the WNBA is. The WNBA almost operates like they're the grandparents. They have a little structure, but they let them get away with a lot of stuff. The foreign teams have tight structures. Some of the countries have certain laws and certain rules that you don't play around with. So these players can get a lot of money overseas, but there's a lot more structure. Maybe your lifestyle isn't jiving real well with what's going on overseas. But over here at Granny's house, aka the WNBA, you can do whatever you want to. Say whatever you want to. A lot more freedom, a lot more leeway with Granny and your grandfather that they'll give you. But when you go back to your parents' house, which is Turkey or whatever country, there's a lot more structure there. And it's really more about basketball. Over here at Granny's house, you can be an activist, you can be an actor, you can be a model, you can be a hooper, and you can do a lot of S talking at Granny's house, because Granny and Pawpaw let you get away with murder. But over here, it's a little different. That's the reason why these players want that money here at Granny's house, because they already have the leeway to say whatever they want without question. Asia Wilson can make racist comments. Natasha Cloud can say whatever she wants to say. Angel Reese can abandon her team. DeWanna Bonner could abandon her team, and you can't say nothing. That's the reason why they want that check. Because at Granny's house, Granny lets you cuss every once in a while, but don't say it in front of your parents. Granny lets you do whatever you want to. Grandpa lets you do whatever you want to with a little structure. Have you ever noticed when the WNBA players do get something at Granny's house that they don't like, they complain about it? That's the reason why. They don't like structure. Granny's house, Grandpa's house don't have a lot of structure. But that answers that question. Before I let you go, I want you to listen to what Charles Barkley had to say about the WNBA, and particularly the players, and when it came to money. Take a listen to Charles Barkley.
Stars aren't the same with the regular players. Let's get that out the way. The stars are the ones who drive the league, but most of the rank and file are regular good players. If the WNBA went on strike and all this Asia, Nafisa's already down there, Caitlin, all those girls went to Unrivaled, they could start their own league with their own equity and make 3 times probably the money they're making now. Now, that would screw all the other players in the WNBA, but you have to understand something. And like I say, I've been in these negotiations. Everybody's not on the same playing field. The stars are up here. Then there's some all-stars like right here. But the majority of players in sports are on the bottom rung. That's not an insult. That's just a fact. Most of the players in all sports are on the bottom rung. They're not up there with the superstars or the guys who are great players. Most of those guys, and I'm going to use this, and it's not insult, most of those guys are special teams players in all sports. And that's no disrespect, but to think that we're all on the same level playing field when it comes to salaries, endorsements, and things, we are 100% wrong.
Hey, made it all.
Now, that was Charles Barkley from The Rich Eisen Show. I'll leave a link to that video because that particular portion was 5 minutes. Before the season, I made a ranking system, and I used a high-rise building as an example, with the top floor being presidential, and only had 3 players on that floor, and that was A'ja Wilson, Nafisa Collier, and Caitlin Clark. The next floor was penthouse. That's where Jonquel Jones, Brianna Jones, and Sabrina Ionescu, those level players are in that tier. Then I had studio. Studio was where, like, a person that's won, like, defensive player, all defensive team, all NBA team, 3-point specialist or defensive specialist, kind of like a Dejounte Carrington or like an Ariel Atkins, who's been an all-star a couple times and been all WNBA. They're in that tier. And then the bottom, and that was the studio level. And then the last level was basically the basement, where I said the majority of WNBA players reside. A lot of rookies start off in the basement because some rookies never become anything. They're just role players, bit players on a team. Your Megan Guffersons like that just won a title with the Aces. Never going to be a starter. Never going to be a star in this league. Doesn't mean she can't hoop, but she's just not a star. I even have Angel Reese as a basement player. No different than Candace Parker. I understood exactly what Candace Parker was saying. Charles Barkley said the same thing. He said the quiet thing out loud. Keep that in mind before we get back on that bus and we go to our next trip. Keep that one thing in mind. You also got to remember, folks, you can tell there's not that much difference between the players in the W. Charles said in sports, which is true, but in the W, a lot of players think they're stars and they're not. Keep in mind, the Las Vegas Aces got pushed to 5 freaking games. The Las Vegas Aces got pushed to 5 games by the Indiana Fever, and the Aces had 4 Olympians, 4 All-Stars or former All-Stars on that roster, starting, and they got pushed to the brink by a team of cast-offs from other teams. Fill-in players that just got a couple weeks to learn how to play with each other, and they pushed which will be the eventual champions to 5 games. And the main reason is, just like Charles Barkley said, when he named the star players, notice Charles Barkley only named 3 people. One of them being A'ja Wilson. And that is the number one reason why the Aces advanced and the Fever didn't. Had the Fever had their superstar player in Caitlin Clark, and on my scale, a superstar player elevates the play of a penthouse player when they're on the court. A'ja Wilson elevated the play with her defense in that series versus the Fever. But she empowered Jackie Young at times. She empowered Chelsea Gray and Jewel Lloyd. That was her power. Her power comes on the defensive end. She can dominate on offense, but her defense is always at a higher level. Her defense is actually at a higher level than her offense. But Caitlin Clark's power is lifting everybody right from the minute she touches a court. Her whole focus is logo 3, get everybody involved. Everybody eating. Everybody's important. Caitlin Clark got by far one of the greatest powers you can ever have, especially being a basketball player, to be unselfish. That's her power. When she's on the court, Aaliyah Boston is elite. Elite. Without Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston is a studio level player. Studio. She makes Aaliyah Boston jump 2 levels by being on the court. So if Caitlin Clark's on the court, the Fever win that series. But that's not that's not a story about this. That's not what this video is about. But I just wanted to let you know that's how powerful those three women are when it comes to sports. Because when we get back on the bus, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. But that answers the questions about the contract. That was just a freaking bargaining report, and it's almost time to turn the lights out. These players had one last gasp, one last shot in front of the media, and then people are going to start turning their attention to the NBA starting, college basketball starting, and you're in the second month of NFL. So they had to do one last shot to get some pub. But let me know your thoughts. Leave your comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.